Hello, pretty humans and delicious friends. Welcome to The Plays the Thing. It's me, Jaboy. Joe. Hi, I'm here, and welcome. So, as you can tell, it is just me, and not Corey today. And this is because, she is on crusade. A glorious crusade against the enemies of the Emperor. So, we must all do our part in our own way to serve the God Emperor of Man. And my way is to be playing Space Marines. So that's what I'm going to do. And also post in chat about being live. Which you are going to be witness to because it's important. There we go. So, we're going to continue off the campaign. I have to guesstimate where we started because pretty much literally after I ended the stream last time, I kind of just kept playing on my own. Because I'm super into this game. For how absolutely, totally extra it is. Select mission. I believe we were in part 2, The Inquisitor. Let me make sure. Planetfall, Titan's Guard. Let's check here, just to see. Oh, wow, the checkpoint. It even gives us checkpoint details. I've never done a mission select in this game, so that's actually pretty dope. After the gun. Install the Orc Assault. Now you must find your way into the Manufactorum. Alright, chapter start. Normal. Hard. I'm gonna do normal. Yes, I know. Reload bolt weapons with R. For those of you who don't remember last time, we crashed an orc battering ram train. Yes, I'm ready.
The Manufactorum still holds.
Some Imperial Guard units made it here after all.
They cannot hold for long. We must hurry.
So, part of what I like about this scene and like the general shape of it is it gives you and what I like about this game in general is that it gives you just like this enormous. Okay, Leandros, chill. Like literally for 5 seconds. That it gives you a sense of just the enormity of the Imperium. That it's basically filling a huge section of the horizon is a manufactor, is just one factory on a world of factories. And I think it comes up later on in an audio log. Okay, actually, so before I mention that, right up here, we're about to encounter a servo skull. if you were playing this game on your own, you would have already encountered one as an audio log, because all the audio logs come in the form of servo skulls. What is a servo skull? It's a literal human skull attached to a floating computer. You would have already encountered one if you were playing this on your own. Plot stuff's about to happen.
What is that servo skull doing?
Trying to deliver a message. Must be damaged. The seal of the Inquisition.
The eye.
Interesting.
What is the Inquisition doing here?
We're about to find out.
This is Inquisitor Droden. I need urgent assistance at Manufacturer Majakis. They're after the experimental device. The device is safe for the time being. I've drawn them off, but now I'm trapped. If I die, you must keep the device out of enemy hands, or he'll be unstoppable. I needed more time. I was nearly ready.
An experimental weapon.
We need to find the Inquisitor before the Orcs do. Keep moving. Remain alert.
Because, of course, being modeled on, like, Gothic dystopia, absolutely does the Imperium have it in Inquisition. Unfortunately, I think, like... So, in following that the fact that the Imperium are not the good guys in this story, they do have an Inquisition who are absolutely 100% not the good guys. But unfortunately, in Relic's video games,
Serve the machine god by joining corpse removal crews at your designated evacuation center.
Remember that. Praise the machine god by removing your dead friends' corpses. But it's slight, not like frustrating, but there exist more nuanced portrayals of the Inquisition than we get.
Captain, look! The Orcs must be operating that crane.
They will not stop until they break through that gate.
We must disable that crane.
Time to get crumpin'. Just, you know, normal day, normal life, killing a bunch of filthy Xenos. Just spreading that good paste. For the Emperor, indeed. For the Emperor, indeed. Yeah, so Like, so this is gonna be a thing. We're gonna be fighting. Oh my. Many boyas. Oh, hey, big boy. Yep, just keep on sawing. So actually, I have thoughts about this game. In that, I saw recently someone compare it to playing Gears of War, and I'm like, so not that Gears of War is a bad game. In fact, I think Gears of War is probably slightly underrated as a game, given the dominance of the shooter genre by Call of Duty pretty shortly thereafter. Like, I feel like Gears of War, despite being extremely popular at the time, in our conversations about games, has been slightly overshadowed by Halo, because Halo, and by Call of Duty, because Call of Duty. And so what I'm about to say, I do not mean as a slight, but this game is so not like, if your read on it is that it's like Gears of War, I question how much of Gears of War you ever actually played, because like it really doesn't feel like that at all. Because, like, yeah, it has a big melee component for a shooter, but Gears of War also had this massive cover system, and actively...
Forward. Clear out the orcs.
Oh, that's not what I wanted. Like, it had this massive cover system that was explicitly designed to make short-range shooting more viable. And in this game, cover, like, even the concept of cover,
to power that cannon.
Even a single shot will blast right through the gates.
We cannot allow that.
but yeah, like, even the, sorry, lost my train of thought there. Also, taking a moment to appreciate how, even despite its age, this game is just grotesquely pretty. Like, the attention to detail in this game is absolutely off the charts. Look at these friggin' consoles. And that's outside this panorama. Like, chef kiss. Absolutely brilliant. Activate! Yep. 40K.
Deck, do you read?
This is Captain Titus of the Ultramarines. Identify yourself.
This is Corporal Antioch, sir. That is, my lord.
I need access to the Manufactorum, Corporal.
There is a service lift in the hangar directly below where you drop the cargo, my lord. We can meet you there.
Stand ready. We will be there shortly. Titus out.
So, well, like I was saying, this game is all hail the Emperor indeed. Pick up that sweet, sweet ammo. Well, actually, so chat, who vices Titus is in fact Mark Strong, the inestimable Mark Strong, also known as Evil Stanley Tucci. But, yeah, so yeah, like, Gears of War, squeeze for Mark Strong are, in fact, strong indeed. But the, Gears of War comparison, I think, betrays...
Full of guardsmen holding that huge gate. They cannot last long.
They did manage to bring the access bridge down, robbing the orcs of their advantage of numbers.
Yep. But, one of the, I think, it betrays kind of... it betrays in video games this tendency to kind of view, things that are aesthetically similar as sharing fundamental design principles, because I'm not going to deny that Gears of War has a similarity to Space Marine, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, but, like, I feel like treating them as the same game, like, the same kind of game, is a little bit weird, because this game is explicitly encouraging you to stay away from cover, whereas Gears of War was super about being in cover all the time. Like, this game, as you notice, I'm actively avoiding cover, he said, finishing his sentence. Like, and this game does sort of have cover in that I can stand behind these boxes, but, like, if you look at the feel of the game, the only way you can recover health is by getting closer to the enemy, by engaging with the enemy. And the Fury of the Emperor meter in the bottom corner, that only fills up as we deal damage and kill enemies. So that's like, rather than encouraging a cautious playstyle, it's actively encouraging a more aggressive stance. Particularly because a lot of the ammo that you get, whoop, didn't mean to go do that, but a lot of the ammo that you get is specifically for your bolter, which is a medium range weapon, rather than for your, like, stalker pattern bolter, or the, like, your pistol has infinite ammo, and functionally the game provides you with a butt-ton of bolter ammo, as opposed to the stalker pattern bolter, or your, the vengeance pattern grenade launcher, which are much longer range weapons, and it's just like, no. We want you dealing at closer ranges. And I'm not saying this game hates ranged combat. It obviously doesn't. It gives you the stalker bolter and the grenade launcher, but it definitely encourages you to shoot and then stab people, or in this case, chainsaw people to death. And more important, well, I shouldn't say people, because as the Imperium would say,
My lords, you must hurry. The greenskins are on the move again. If they find the access point we are using, we will not last long.
filthy Xenos aren't people. And I think that this game emphasizes by the first enemies in the game being the orcs, who are notoriously melee. Oops. Wasting Ballistus. Like, taking from the game the species that's most notoriously melee-oriented isn't really an accident. A, because it gives you this sense of being, like, extremely powerful compared to the big, clumsy, dumb orcs. And also, like, the feel of shooting into hordes of, like, endless enemies. But, it also forces you to learn how to use the melee system in the game. Speaking of, yep, yeah, tap, yeah, got.
The Space Marines!
Oh, but to go back to the, For the Emperor, because, this intellectual property series, this nebulous thing that is 40K, at various points in its own writing, it has claimed that there are orcs that, rather than worshipping the orc gods, worship the Emperor. And because they're still orcs, rather than saying, rather than saying, Wah! Or for the Emperor, because they can't pronounce, human words, they say, for the Emperor! And,
The lift is this way.
it has come in and out of canon, but in my head canon for this
Corporal Antioch.
universe,
We are in position.
Excellent, Captain. I'm sending the lift up now.
in my head canon for this universe, there are always, 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 always orcs who are for the Emperor. Barrel roll. I think there are some feisty boys behind that door. Oh, we've got a new
Granting
thing.
access. Authorization Astartes Ultra.
Power Axe. The Power Axe is sheathed in sparking power field and delivers devastating blows, able to crack open heavy armor. Mounts 2 to yeah, blah blah blah, all that good stuff. So power axes,
An entire horde.
or power weapons,
Antioch, hold the lift. We have orcs inbound.
the
Space Marine!
hang on. The power axe is the lightsaber of the power weapon, I should say, because there are more common than power axes or power swords. But as you can see, haha, get dunked on. The power axe or power weapon is the lightsaber of the 41st millennia. Because it basically totally ignores armor. Let's see what bad things we can do to orcs with this gun. Or this axe. But yeah, like, from that gameplay, I think that this game is somewhere, like, more similar to, like, God of War, in a way. Like, it's... And why I like it is because it's kind of this weird hybrid of a traditional shooter and more of, like, a hack and slash, like, God of War or something. Kill him! Kill him! Ah!
Seed of the Imperium.
Yikes, that sucked. Well, gotta fight that section again.
The lift is this way.
I gotta get used to... I'm used...
Antioch. We are in position.
Excellent, Captain. I'm sending the lift up now.
I'm used to having the Stalker Bolter in the 3 slot rather than the 4. That's why I keep using that Vengeance Launcher.
Granting access. Authorization Astartes Ultra.
Orcs! An entire horde!
Hold the lift. We have orcs inbound.
Humans. So chat, do you have questions, thoughts, comments, smart remarks? Yeah, this is a pretty tough room, but, like... once you get the rhythm of it, it's not so bad. And I keep forgetting to do this. Yeah, I keep forgetting to pound these guys into paste. Also, our friends the Imperial Guard are here. And we get to see them use their flashlights. Yes, indeed. Let the bodies hit the floor. So yeah, we started this this battle with 330 bolt shells. Now we have 140. A lot of bullets were shot today. A lot of bullets.
Corporal Antioch,
Yes, my lord.
we have word that an Inquisitor is in the Manufactorum.
Yes, Lord Drogon. We have not seen him for several days. Has the Liberation fleet arrived, my lord?
The fleet is still en route, Corporal. The Ultramarines are here as a vanguard, to cripple the enemy and secure the most valuable assets.
I see.
But the facility and its Titans remain secure.
All I can say for certain is that no Orc has breached this gate, my lord.
Contact Lieutenant Mira. Her unit is establishing a bastion in Hab Center Andres, and your support craft now have a viable approach from orbit.
What of the Colonel and his staff?
They did not survive.
What we've learned... Indeed, we've all learned something today. That you can kill Xenos for fun and profit. I actually was thinking the same thing. How long can I
Here
keep
we are,
Mark
my
Strong
lord.
talking? Oh.
My thanks, Corporal.
How long can I keep the thick, syrupy voice of Mark Strong
Keep that muzzle clean, guardsman.
talking? That is truly a question for the ages, really. In fact, I believe, actually, it's time for us to do a quick audio log thing, because I believe I've skipped 2 sets of audio logs.
Has a deep wound to the arm. Signs of blood poisoning.
That's from an orc chopper. We can't stop him from going septic. Make him comfortable and move on.
You've seen these kinds of wounds before.
Unfortunately, yes, in my first orc invasion, which I hoped would be my last. Yet here I am again. Right, who's next?
I like the Magos, who we've met last time, whose name just totally escapes me. But I like her as a character. I think she's super interesting. No, I do not believe that is Dame Judi Dench. I could check, though. Let's see. Warhammer 40k Space Marine. Oh, also, if you guys don't know this, that, so, fun fact, Dame Judi Dench, so, Jesus, I almost said Vince Vaughn, who is not who I'm, Vin Diesel, for those who do not know, is super into D&D, like, vastly, massively into D&D for years into D&D, and him and Dame Judi Dench were in both in the Chronicles of Riddick. And colloquial wisdom has it that, or received wisdom, I should say, apocryphally it is said that Vin Diesel convinced Dame Judi Dench to play D&D with him. And so, remember that in these dark times, we still live in a world where Vin Diesel played D&D with Dame Judi Dench. And you know what? I think that's a good world to be in. Sorry, this is taking so long to look up the cast and crew. So, Mark Strong. Jesus Christ, his IMDb, like, headshot. Holy shit, his IMDb headshot. We've got Richard... Full cast, let's see. We've got Mark Strong. Richard Hawley is playing Sidonis. Noah Huntley as Leandros. Noah Huntley, I know by voice, because he's in, like, everything. Christine Roberts as Lieutenant Mira. Corporal Antioch, who we just met, and the Inquisitor are played by Danny Webb. Sally Knivet is the voice of the Manufactorum ambient voice. Yeah, I'm not seeing any... No Dame Judi Dench. That is not, in fact, Dame Judi Dench. But more audio logs.
Encoded transmission from Inquisitor Drogon to Inquisitor Lord Sharp. As we'd hoped, my lord, Forge World Graya is an ideal location to focus on my work. Though helpful, the tech priests of the Adeptus Mechanicus are forever curious. Interest can easily turn to interference. I will be cautious about involving them in my experiments, at least for now.
So, sneaky. Oh, you don't have to apologize. It's just no... there are so many people that sound like so many other people. It's ridiculous.
Personal message, Cash. Guardsman Alexander. Today was a good day. We were clearing a foundry of orcs when I heard a banging from inside the furnace. It's a good thing I didn't throw a grenade inside because it was full of civilians. Starving, scared, some no more than kids, but still alive. It cheered everyone up to see them. Gives us something worth fighting for, you know. Now we've just got to keep the orcs away from them.
I like bits like this one with Guardsman Alexander because it's like, by any objective standard, the Imperium is evil. And part of why I like 40K so much is because it's like, it in its best moments, in its best writing, it raises questions of like, what does it mean to be a good person in a system that is so absolutely terrifyingly evil. And I think that's like interesting. That's why I think the Guardsman Alexander bits are interesting, because it's like Guardsman Alexander is such a small part of this massive machine and still tries to find humanity in small moments and still believes in doing a good and just thing in a world that actively punishes those things. For example, this is a world that we have established from this is one of my favorite bits, actually. We know and have established that from the audio, or the not audio logs, the announcements coming over the intercom, that showing up to work late is a bigger sin despite the fact that a horrible orc invasion is happening, showing up to work late is still a massive and irredeemable sin. And I think that it's interesting to see how good people react to systems and societies that are fundamentally broken. Also, I like this.
Last, a place the orcs have not stained.
For now. I doubt even dropping that cannon on them will convince orcs to back away.
Indeed. We must find this Inquisitor and the Titan Invictus.
So, I love the transept-style cathedral attitude towards literally entering a factory. And this, other than it being backwards, which bothers me, because it should read Adeptus Mechanicus, like, ostensibly you're walking in a this-way direction when reading it, but nitpicks. Adeptus Mechanicus. Love the use of the Roman U. But this is... I love the outer thing here. Toll the great bell once. Pull the lever forward to engage the piston and pump. Toll the great bell twice. With the push of button, fire the engine and spark the turbine into life. Toll the great bell thrice. Sing praise to the god of all machines. I like the ritualistic approach to literally just turning on an engine. Yeah, here's where one of our servo skulls would have been. I'm still working on getting the servo skulls all in their appropriate places. But another reason I like this scene, for just like the stark beauty of it, for like literally a factory. I also like how all of the columns like turn to follow you with enormous machine guns.
Be not concerned with events beyond these walls. Work, focus, meet your quota. Increased productivity gains high favor from the machine god.
That's another thing I love. In case you didn't hear it, it's be not concerned with the events beyond these walls. Work, focus, work. Meeting your quota, meet your quota. High productivity gains favor from the machine god. Like, that is both, to me at least, deeply fascinating and also, at a certain level, horrifying. Just like how nakedly dystopian it is. Because like a lot of dystopian literature, like particularly if we base ourselves on 1984, likes to hide its dystopianness in euphemism. What I like about 40K is that the Imperium is so prepared for... so you know how the Titan keeps getting mentioned? We're about to see it. Manufactorum
Titan
Ajax.
Invictus seems undamaged at least.
Titan Invictus seems unused, you mean? Is this invasion not enough to bring out the War Titans?
It takes hundreds to get a War Titan operational, Sergeant. Without them, it sits idle.
That is a Titan. It sounds like my job. Yeah. My only response is deeply Werner Herzog voice, such is the nature of what was optimistically called late-stage capitalism. But yeah, so this is the Titan we keep mentioning, and the reason we want to keep it away from the orcs is because Yeah. That big cannon we dropped on a bunch of orcs and smushed them with, that's one of those. Yeah. I don't think we want them to have that. Because... oh boy. Oh boy. But yeah, like the how nakedly dystopian it is, I have an appreciation for, because it's like a lot of dystopian fiction couches itself in euphemism, so that it seems like it's not as horrible as it is. 40K is just nakedly awful. To be frank, the reason why the grimdark genre is based on 40K is because the grimdark genre, like, if not celebrates, wallows in awfulness. Or at least wallows in societies that are awful.
Augur station. I can scan for the Inquisitor's life signs.
Access authorized.
There. A lone human.
Identity confirmed. Drogon. Ordo Xenos.
He's in this wing of the Manufactorum.
I read alien signals throughout the facility, and a large number converging on the Inquisitor's location.
And I think, like, so, an Inquisitor, no, as the title of this episode would indicate, nobody expects the Imperial Inquisition! But, God, the architecture here, just the effort they go to making these really high spaces with, really poor lighting for a video game to make them seem even taller than they are. Like, do the orcs have kaiju? Yes. They have, so they have, squigoths, which are enormous orc dinosaurs. They're four-legged orc dinosaurs that orcs strap cannons and zap guns onto.
449 is understaffed by 100%. Please rectify.
Section 449 is understaffed by 100%. Gee, I wonder why. Yeah, the squigoth is a, it's basically a big giant orc dinosaur. But the reason we want to keep this away from the orcs is because the orcs also build another thing called gargants, which are, like, they're basically like Titans, except bigger and shittier. Or not bigger, but like, same size, but like, made of, they basically look like moving scrap heaps covered in guns. But what I find super interesting about them, oh my, it's 9 o'clock, do you know where your children are? The enormous scrap heap gargants are also like these enormous temples to the orc war gods.
Your workstation. Everything is under control.
Everything's under control. Everything is fine. Is there anything down here? Ballestus, that's what's down here. But yeah, the orcs will scavenge Imperial tech to build gargants, which are basically just enormous temples to their war gods, Gork and Mork. Who, as I've previously mentioned, Gork is brutal yet cunning, and Mork is cunning yet brutal. And I mean, if you don't understand the difference, clearly you don't have the fine, nuanced view of the orky mind. And so, like, yeah, at 40k is maybe not the progenitor of grimdark, but at least the namesake of grimdark as a genre in media. Dinosaurs, indeed. Oaks, 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 oaks. Yeah, the orcs are basically comic relief for 40k in a game that is pretty heavy satire.
The Andros. Can you use this panel to contact our other forces?
Not directly, but I can boost Vox range.
Do it.
Access authorized. Ultramarines chapter.
Heavy infestation at Drop Point Venus. Squad regulars making part, sir.
Here, Captain.
Ultramarines, this is Captain Titus. Are you receiving?
Captain, this is Sergeant Midas. Squad Solidus is on the ground and making for our objective.
New orders, Midas. We are at Manufactorum Ajakis and have located the Titan Invictus. I need Solinus to come secure the Invictus while I divert to a priority alarm.
On our way, Captain. Midas out.
So, unlike a lot of games where they just throw... What I like about this is, unlike a lot of games where they just throw a military captain into the field, and it's you and, like, one or two other dudes doing a fight, or maybe just you doing a fight. In this game, it'll come up a few times that ostensibly, though not a lot because it's still a shooter, the captain is still, Captain Titus is still commanding a full company of Space Marines on the planet. Yeah. Scale in this game. But, I also like how slow-paced this game is in terms of, like, combat. Like, it gives us these very long periods of rest between fights. Let's get ready to rock. Also, this. Oh yeah, so all these little bars out here. Look at these boys getting made. And at the scale. Like, clearly designed to imply, like, great distance, that river of molten metal is at a great distance and thus very large.
Pipes. The orcs are in the pipes.
Gretchen, I'll have you know that floating is heresy. But yeah, so as I was reading before, like, 40k is kind of, like, one of the prime examples of grimdark as a genre. I think grimdark often gets, like, this bad rap as celebrating darkness. Whereas, which it is totally capable of being, because it is fundamentally a pulp genre. But what I think is praiseworthy about 40K and a lot of Grimdark, or at least Grimdark at its best, is that it wallows in darkness, not simply for darkness's own sake, although it does sometimes that, and at its best it isn't celebrating darkness, it's critiquing it, or satirizing it, while still taking that darkness seriously enough to be able to ask, what do good people do when faced with, like, awful situations? Because let's not beat around the bush about it. Like, a lot of real human history is what we would consider, like, if I were to tell stories about real human history today bereft of their historical context, there are lots of periods in which we were pretty grimdark. And I think that that's important because it's like talking about how good people deal with bad societies that they exist in is really important, because it's easy to say, or it's easy to assume that they'll just do what we would view as right. And it's more complicated to actually watch humans try and deal with forces that exist on such grander scales than they do, and are ultimately hostile, even if they are a part of those ultimately hostile systems. Because it, I think it, I think it ultimately...
Repeat authorization.
Drogon, prepare the power source for immediate release.
Here's the Inquisitor.
Master, disregard all safety protocols and...
Speak clearly. Repeat authorization.
Inquisitor Drogon?
Computers even suck in the 41st millennia.
I am Drogon. And you are?
Captain Titus of the Ultramarines. We received your distress call, but you seem to have weathered the enemy's attack.
I am soldier and scientist, both, Captain.
What is the status of the experimental device?
The power source is running the entire Manufactorum from the generator room.
This device is a fuel source, not a weapon?
It is a complex device and an unstable one. If the Orcs find it, they'll try and take it apart. It could detonate with enough force to destroy the entire planet.
Then we must move it to safety.
And for that, Captain, I need your aid. This way.
Skrillex had a really rough
You are
time.
wounded, Inquisitor Drogon.
I'm a psyker. My psychic abilities are controlling the bleeding.
Very well.
So, the trigger has been pulled. We have been introduced to Psychers in 40K. Part of the reason that the Imperium takes heresy so seriously is because of Psychers. We'll find out shortly why Psychers are a problem. But suffice to say for now, they draw the energy of their psychic power from another dimension called the Warp. I foresee no consequences to that. At all. Yep, just a river of molten metal. Like you do. Just like you have. Around.
Xenos life forms detected.
Ah, here's the war boss.
Space Marine! You try to steal my Titans? Steal my loot? I'll rip your guts right out your throat!
Be
Orc himself.
I'm gonna put your head on a spike, Space Marine!
I like how he's going around the ramp up there, just banging on pipes, trying to get orcs out to fight.
Space Marines!
Why, hello! That's rude. I'm going to teach you manners. I hope that was educational. No more pipes. So somewhere around here is one of my favoriteest weapons. And I hope I don't miss it, because that would suck. 330. Yeah, we still got a little bit, I think, to go before we get it. We'll get it. Stratum 73. Also, what I like about 40k over a lot of other Grimdark is, like, a lot of other Grimdark draws on the genre trappings of Eldritch Horror.
The orc has a scent for us now. Damnable creature! Had he not blundered onto this world?
But he did, Drogon.
Yeah, there it is. Get ready. Who needs a bolt pistol? Bolt pistols are for scrubs. What we've got right here.
Space Marine recognized. Full access granted.
Is a plasma pistol. The Mark III Sun Fury plasma pistol fires balls of superheated plasma. It can fire quick shots or powerful charged blasts. This weapon permanently replaces your bolt pistol. Behold the power of the plasma pistol. And also, more ammo.
There. We must get to that lift.
I hear Xenos. I hear Xenos.
My boys want to give you a proper greeting!
Yep, you just saw teleporting orcs. That is what an orc psycho looks like. Yeah, that's plasma.
Shoot! Shoot back!
The power of plasma. Which, though I know this game predate, though I know the 40k universe predates Doom, my first encounter with the power of plasma will always be Doom. But anyway, so yeah, like, a lot of Grimdark kind of has an eldritch horror influence. What I like about 40k is it's because a lot of the idea of Grimdark is that, like, there are these forces beyond your control and that are so much more vast, powerful, and hostile. What I like about 40k is that a lot of those forces aren't alien, that they're human. Like, and I like the absolutely.
How deeper does this facility go? Manufactorum? Far deeper. The whole generator room is actually suspended above a venting shaft.
Suspended?
Yes. In case of catastrophic overload, the whole room can be shunted away into the depths.
What I like about this is that it's like this vast, like, basically the only comparison I really have is Judge Dredd, and even this is very different from Dredd, where it's like, Dredd is this, like, the size of the cities exists as...
Ah, yes, here we are. Colder than a spaceman's smile in here. Yes, a byproduct of the device's functioning.
Like, that Dredd emphasizes the scale of human construction largely to suggest this vast, unhealthy, cancerous growth. Whereas in 40k, though that element is definitely there, there's so much of 40k that's built on this massive scale as built on a massive scale and with purpose. Like, not only with purpose, but with, like, an attention to detail and artistry that implies that, like this beam could just be a straight beam, but instead it's made with shape and with this, like, aesthetic purpose that implies a kind of devotion and an attention to detail, but at such impossibly massive scale that it feels alien and threatening merely because of its size. Or not threatening, maybe, but, like, awe-inspiring. Like, that there are vaster, unknowable, there are forces so vast that by their very size that they are unknowable, even when those forces are human forces. And I mean, some of that is obviously just to be rad as hell, like...
Captain Titus, proceed into the main chamber. We need only obtain the power source at the core of the generator. I will initiate decoupling from a control console.
Understood.
Yeah, President's Launcher.
Brothers, guard the access points.
I have engaged the decoupling sequence, Captain. You must keep the chamber secure until the power source is exposed.
Identity confirmed. Drogon, Ordo Xenos.
That's so freaking... Like...
There. Primary shield is open, Captain. Head into the central chamber.
The attention to detail on lifting big...
Xenos detected.
Xenos? I knew you'd say that. The attention to detail on lifting big giant dome and having a wall of fog come out.
Captain, the war boss.
Space Marine! What are you hiding down here? I want it! Space Marine! Get it, boys! Enemies are flying up here!
Hold back the greenskins, Captain. The power source will be free of the generator shortly.
Power core explosion.
You can't run from me, Space Marine!
Now, head over to the Servitor station and activate it. It will retrieve the power source and get it into its canister.
Space Marines to kill! Step them out! Space Marines to kill! To bits! This sparky thing what you want, Space Marine? Then I'll take it for myself!
Well,
That damn orc will kill us all. Grab it, Captain. Force the power source into its canister. Quickly!
oh god. Gotta grab it. Wow, that seems like a bad thing just happened. The whole room is coming indeed. I often think whole rooms are...
Sidonus, Leandros, respond.
Captain! The Inquisitor insisted you could not have survived.
Well, I did. And I have his precious power source.
We set a rendezvous in Hab Center Andris. These tunnels will spit us out there eventually.
Fine. Continue heading toward the Hab Center.
So we're on our own.
The orcs have reached the Western Territories. That's close, Caleb.
Not.
So what we're doing is listening to last chapter's audio logs.
The orcs have reached the Western Territories. That's close, Caleb.
Not when all the planetary defenses and the Skitarii stand between us and them.
First you don't believe there's an invasion, and now you're not worried about it at all.
Lilith, we have a far better chance of being killed on the assembly line than by a faraway orc.
Workers, take your stations. Be productive. Be dutiful.
Yeah, definitely no problems with orcs. Definitely not. They're far away. Yep.
Transmission to Inquisitor Lord Sharp. My lord, the research facility is operational ahead of schedule, thanks to the tech priests. I've already begun my work to create a stable energy matrix. Harnessing these unorthodox energies is proving more promising than I could have dreamed.
Unorthodox energies. Huh. That won't become significant at all. I mean, we certainly didn't see problems when this whole building collapsed on us. I love how, like, vaguely spoopy this is. Hey! Yep. I also kind of like the rest this game gives us by putting us in, like, after seeing all these big, gigantic, impossibly large-scaled things, the game is like, alright, now take a rest. Here's just this small, tight, vaguely spoopy space. Aha! Ballestus. Swap Power Axe for Power Axe. I will indeed. So you'll often see this, it's like chainsword or power axe options going further into the game. And later on we'll get other melee weapon options, but this is basically just, this is a nice feature where it's like, hey, if you like the chainsword, either gameplay-wise or aesthetically, go hog wild. I, of course, prefer the power axe, because like, even it has vaulted, vaulted architecture on it. Why do I like that? Because I'm trash. I'm grimdark 40k trash. I also like that this basically is saying that the last couple chapters were training because they gave you 2 other Space Marines to rely on, like people who are basically as competent as you, functionally as competent as you are. And now you're on your own in dealing with hordes of hostile orky boys. I will. And I just did. Yep.
Space Marines! Kill them all! Crush the Space Marines!
Smooshin' boyos. Any thoughts, feelings, smart remarks, chat? You've been awfully quiet today. I will. Just blowing up important pipes in the heart of a manufactorum. Don't even worry about it. Goodbye. Fight through another hallway. Another spoopy hallway. There we go. 4. Ah. There it is. Well, I think that went pretty well, don't you? Just the way we left it. I foresee no negative consequences to our reckless use of firearms in a clearly, in a space that was clearly not designed for them. Let's ignore the quest route for a minute and take a look at our... We got 15 minutes, so let's take a look at our audio logs.
I was right. For days I tracked that signal coming from beyond the...
Aha! So chapter 7. If you remember, this was the transmechanic Petronius who initially detected the approach of the Orc Wa, and no one believed him.
I was right. For days I tracked that signal coming from beyond the sun. I didn't tell Transmechanic First Class Alaric because I didn't want to be ridiculed. And today, I heard voices. The signal's an Orc fleet heading straight for Grya. That's when I told Alaric, You should have seen the shock on his face. If he'd believed me a week ago, we would have had that much more warning. He was wrong. I was right. Finally.
I also like how these audio logs portray like a range of human reactions to crisis. The transmechanic is so like he doesn't even take it as a problem that an orc invasion is happening. It's more about his own struggles with doing his job and people believing that he's capable of doing it. With Lilith and I think Elric or whatever, the two workers, it's Lilith being concerned right from the get-go and her friend not believing her at all, even to the point of just like straight up denial that the orcs are literally the orcs are pounding at the gates, and he's like, don't worry about it, this Skitarii will take care of it, the Imperial Guard will take care of it, don't worry, it's gonna be fine. And now we've got a Medicae log. Medicae Station Ventress.
We're almost out of sterile dressings. I haven't even begun to treat the new burn victims yet.
You can't treat them. Give them something for pain, but that is all.
I am a Magos Biologis. No wound or malady is beyond me.
You are in a triage situation. Observe, analyze, and decide who we can save.
And then there's this interesting interaction between the two Magos in the doctor's office, the triage station, or the medic station, doing triage on just the literally untold numbers of wounded, and their increasing desperation to like do a job that just can't be done. Because not only are they losing this war, they're losing on a scale that is so massive that they're literally dealing with hundreds, millions of wounded and dead. I think it's interesting. Sad, but interesting. Because it's like, that's why I really appreciate the willingness of this game to flesh out stories that are basically wholly unrelated to the plot of this game. And not like a lot of audio logs. It's not like, I, Reginald P. Thrimbletrimmer, am recording my dying thoughts. Ah, yes. As this murder cannibal inserts his knife into my organs, I take this time to relate to you my life story. It always feels as though the observer, which, to be fair, given their chosen method of delivery, is this like, oh no. Ah, problem solved. That the servo skull, it's like there's this passive observer. Sometimes it's like actively people recording a dialogue, or an audio log, but sometimes it's just literally a passive observer recording what is happening. And I like that. I wish games did that more. And stay down. But I like the way it kind of like, it doesn't have, like, unlike a lot of audio logs in a lot of games where they're at least, they fill in a lot of plot. And I suppose these do fill in some plot, but it's not necessarily like plot that's relevant to you and your character's struggle. It's just a picture of this broader structural struggle, and which, to be fair, audio logs in other games do, but and I'm not to say that this is unique in doing that. That would be ridiculous. But what I like about it is that it commits to these stories being more or less it commits to a lot of to like filling in your own plot, but also committing to stories that are
Adeptus Astartes recognized. Ultramarines chapter. Access granted.
Melt-A-Gun. So, a Melt-A-Gun is a big giant fusion gun that is designed as an anti-tank weapon.
Even here, the tech priests honor their machine god.
The Vulcan Assault Pattern Melt-A-Gun fires a scorching plume of molecularly agitated heat at close range. This power comes at an expense of low ammunition stores and a long recharge between shots. The reason it's called a Melt-A-Gun is because it melts things. It's a big giant gun that shoots, that vents, fusion gases. Just wait, let's just wait. Let's just wait. Let's go on a journey together. Oh, you're mad? You're mad? You're mad? You're mad? You're mad? Goodbye. This is the part of the game where we start to get to weapons that I really like the plasma. The spoilers, in our future is a plasma rifle, but the plasma rifle and the Melt-A-Gun I deeply enjoy just because it's like they basically evaporate everything they touch. Ooh boy. Let's see if we can get to the end of this segment before our time. Because I'm getting to be sleepy and I'm pretty hungry. Because it's late and I have not eaten dinner yet. Barrel roll. No, not barrel roll. But tactical. Get tactical. love these long hallways in this game. Enormous engines that are so unimportant they live in the basement. Not just the basement, the basement's basement. This is like sub-basement level 3, and there are several 100-foot tall whatever the fucks. This is great. Come on. Come on, Titus, get that big booty rolling.
Space Marines!
Yep.
Come and get run, boys!
Yeah, run. You better run. I'm gonna do you a frighten. Nope, nope. Want that melt-a-gun. You can't unsell me on the melt-a-gun. Rude. That's a hell of an elevator. Oh good, we've reached our transition. Pretty much. Just in time. Actually, let me check. Even... No, it's still in chapter 7. Heart of Darkness, by the way, is what this episode is called. Ooh. A thing. I like that the light that we see that looks like it's shining on it, like that light, isn't even directly over this thing.
Adeptus Astartes recognized. Access authorized.
Pick up Purity Seal. Yes, please. Superior Fury unlocked. Excellent. I need more Fury. Fury mode now drains Fury significantly more slowly. Use this advantage to destroy the enemies of man. I will. I'm hyped to destroy the filthy Xeno scum that plague humanity. Yeah, I hear ya. Oh my. Damn it. Asshole. I have the high ground! Give it up, Orcakin! I have the high ground! See, they didn't give it up. Hey! I see Spezmarins!
Captain Titus.
Well met, brothers. Any idea of our position?
Should be nearing an access point to the surface. The air smells a bit cleaner.
I've had enough of tunnels. Let's get out of here and find the Inquisitor before the orcs do.
Haha, we've met up with our boys just before time. I kind of want to keep going though. Let's see where we are at. Audio log. Still Heart of Darkness. Ow. Rendezvous with the Inquisitor. Itchy, itchy, itchy.
It's a fight now! Come and get me, Space Marine!
Give it up, Orcakin! Ah, good. More foes. Excuse me? Oh, there we go. Tried to execution move you.
Considerate of the green scum to open the way.
Yeah. Back to more blown up orc territory. We're still in chapter 7. I keep forgetting how long Heart of Darkness is.
At last, a way to the surface.
Yeah. Goes a long way down. So now we get to see what life is like for the Imperial citizen outside of the Manufactorum. Objective complete. Escape the sewers. So, we are at Chapter 8, Whispers of the Dead. Meet with Inquisitor Drogon at the rendezvous point of Habitation Center, Andris. Well, I think that's where we're gonna leave it. We made it 4 chapters today, just like we made 4 chapters last time. So, this has been The Plays the Thing. I'm Joe. And if you like what you saw here today, please check out the links to our social media in the doobly-doo below, where we have links to our Twitter, our Facebook, our YouTube, where you can watch old episodes, or you can watch old episodes here on our Twitch. Those only stay up for a couple days, but, you know, if there's other stuff that you want to see, like Alan Wake, which we are currently playing on channel, check that out on the YouTube. Anyway, this has been The Plays the Thing. I hope we've caught your consciences today, and have a lovely night and a beautiful weekend. Goodbye.